The Youth Girls program was really born with an AFL women's team in mind. At the Swans we like to do things really well, and we thought for us to have a viable women's program, the best way to do that was to build from the bottom up, build the talent locally in Sydney and provide a pipeline just like the boys get through the QBE Sydney Swans Boys Academies.
The reality is it's exciting for girls all around Australia. You know, when you think back a few years, there were obviously some girls' competitions, but the numbers joining the competitions now are skyrocketing. Academy will add that little bit extra for them.
Clearly not all the girls who go through the Academy program will end up playing for the Swans in the women's team, just like it is with the boys, but to replicate that program as best we can, we started this year with 12s and 13s. Next year we'll start with 11s, which marries up with the boys, so 11s, 12s, 13s and 14s, and obviously work our way through to under 18s and under 19.
At QBE we are very passionate about equality, diversity and inclusion. Obviously AFL is developing a women's game and the Swans is not yet ready to participate in that, and there are a lot of very sensible reasons for it. But I guess for the Swans to be able to participate in that fully and successfully, you need a pipeline of talent. And you know, we're really supportive of developing that pipeline of talent and doing it in a structured program. The QBE Swans Academy has been so successful in launching the careers of a lot of successful young men. So it is that should now be available to girls so that they can become successful young female players as well.
I'm just here as a dad today. Yeah, my young daughter Tula wants to have a crack. She's only early days in her footy. She's, I think the interest of AFLW and being able to watch women run around, and now the Swans creating a pathway is awesome. So yeah, she's just really excited, a bit nervous, and yeah, I was told to go out and have a crack.
We explained to the coaches that we really wanted girls who were energetic, obviously athletic. So we had a number of drills and activities that displayed their athleticism, competitive. The girls who wanted to win, you could see that just that sharp focus and wanted to do really well. Just basically energy givers, you know, girls who you know are going to commit to the program and give it their all.
It's just about, you know, getting out and having a go, to be totally honest with you. It's not just pure Aussie rules football skills. You know, they get the form to throw all sorts of balls around. It's just having a look at a bit about hand-eye coordination, you know, how a general athlete moves, and you know, as well as can they kick, mark and hand pass, or for me, what do I need to make sure is written in the program for when we start next year.
It is going to be interesting to see where it grows, and we know that there's genuine interest in AFL from females in Sydney. The growth at Clubland is huge, and even just the reaction when we open the registrations for these trials has been enormous.
It's the launch of the Youth Girls program, and there's a lot of exciting faces in the room, and I can reminisce to when I was in their footsteps, and it's a really exciting time.
How excited are you to be involved in the Youth Girls program?
Really, really happy. It's a big achievement.
What are you looking forward to most?
Well, I'm looking forward to all the skills and new coaches that can help us learn.
Getting stronger in my footy and meeting new people.
It's one of those, I guess, one of those nights which goes down probably in history that you don't appreciate at the time. And to me it was really clear as soon as I walked into the room and the stands at the SCG of the energy and the excitement of the young girls.
To see the girls tonight and the energy in the room, yeah, I wouldn't have sort of dreamt 3 or 4 years ago something like this happening, but for her and the other girls now, there's a real pathway, and AFLW's really exploded girls getting involved in footy, and it's super.
That was such an exciting night for a number of reasons. I guess we saw all the young girls who were involved and their enthusiasm and excitement for being able to be included and to start getting some training. It also saw, you know, all the very senior leadership of the Swans there endorsing the importance of this program, and I think that's really important. When you have leadership endorsing something like that, you know that it's going to succeed.
Normally when we run the inductions for the boys, it's pretty low key and you just, you go through it, but the energy in the room that night was palpable, and everyone was excited, and yeah, definitely it sort of showcased that big things are happening within the academy. We wanted to teach the girls the fundamental skills, which is kicking, handball and marking. We also wanted then to give them some game knowledge, a bit of understanding of how the game works, and as simple as just learning the positions and what roles those positions play. We didn't try to get too sophisticated and outsmart ourselves. We just wanted the girls to come in at an introductory level, and then as the program progresses, we'll get more and more sophisticated.
I think about my own experience in coming to the Swans. I love it as a game that I watch, but I don't know what it's like to be on the field, playing it, making up those moves as the game evolves. And for girls to now start having that experience, to understand the technical skills that you need and how that develops during a game, that is such a deeper understanding. And now that conversation that will be had at the dinner table between the girls and the boys will go to that deeper level.
You're the girl or the boy who waits to call for it, only when it's in their hand. You're too late. Everyone calls for it then.
The culture gap between the girls and boys isn't as great as what I thought it was. And I think that's because it is a talent program. With talent programs, you have got very focused individuals who are quite competitive. I think the differences might be a little bit greater if it was just a casual program or participation program, but both groups were trying to impress, and they train accordingly.
I suppose the first thing that needs to be mentioned, it was very wet and cold, and the way that the girls conducted themselves in those conditions was first rate. Their effort was fantastic. It was a good opportunity for us to see the girls in their entirety, both age groups, playing games and also doing sprint training with Melinda Gainsford-Taylor, which was a fantastic experience for them.
The improvement in the girls has obviously been in their skill level, and I think the girls now are becoming more confident in their environment, so they're able to express themselves a little bit more. The one thing I have noticed is that whenever we play games, anything that's competitive, or the small-sided games that we play, is when the girls really do step up.
QBE have been very generous to award 6 scholarships to one girl from each region who has impressed us throughout the 12-week program. The scholarships will pay for footballing expenses for the girls who were selected. It was based on, attitude, attendance, ability over the course of the season, and improvement as well, which was probably the big one, and that's why it was a tough selection to narrow it down to one girl from each region.
It's pretty cool because, it's kind of hard to win it, and it just shows that all your hard work has paid off.
That's awesome. I reckon it's so great for the girls to have an AFL now, and not just the boys, and so girls get opportunities now to be like the boys.
It develops confidence, it develops skills, it develops understanding of really important concepts like teamwork, putting the hard yards in to get the results.
The pathway for the girls will grow. It grows by another age group next year, so we go from 2 to 3, and then the following year to 4 to 5, and then once the girls get to the end of their under 15 year, we have what we call a top end program, and that becomes more of a high performance focus.
The future is starting now with the Youth Girls Academy, and I guess the long-term future is competing in the AFLW. We've been really bullish about that, wanting to be a part of that when we're ready, and the important part about us being ready is when we can be satisfied that we're giving the young girls that become young women the best opportunity to succeed and do well. Really exciting time. The fact that Youth Girls participation is the single largest participation group in in all of Australia, but certainly here in Sydney. We want to be a part of that, and we think we're a really good and attractive vehicle to drive youth girls footy in Sydney for generations to come.